I will tell you something tonight, my dear ones. Something I have never told anyone in all these years. You see these wrinkled hands of mine? They carry memories heavier than they look. And this story, the one I have kept buried deep inside me, comes from the time when I was young, restless, and living inside the walls of a convent. When you hear the word convent, perhaps you imagine peace-quiet corridors, whispered prayers, soft candlelight flickering near statues of saints. Yes, there was peace, but there was also silence so heavy it pressed on your chest. There was discipline so strict that even the smallest sound of laughter could feel like rebellion. And there were rules written not just on paper, but etched into our very hearts. I had entered the convent with dreams of serving God, of living a life untouched by the world's chaos. I wanted to find purity, to give my youth to something greater than myself. At first, I thought I had found it. The sisters were kind, but firm. We woke at dawn, prayed until our knees ached, studied scriptures, and worked in the gardens. The days were long but purposeful, and my soul felt calm. It was late winter, and the convent's halls were colder than ever. I remember wrapping my shawl tighter as I made my way back from the chapel. The moonlight shone through the tall windows, painting the stone floor with silver light. That was when I heard it, a faint sound, like a muffled cry. At first I thought it was my imagination, but it came again. I followed the sound down a side corridor that led to the storage rooms. The door was half open, and inside I saw her sister, Margaret, one of the older nuns. She was crouched down, her face pale, her hands trembling. And beside her, hidden under blankets, was a baby. Yes, a baby. Inside the convent, my heart nearly stopped. We were forbidden from contact with the outside world except under rare circumstances. A baby had no place there. I gasped, and Sister Margaret looked at me with eyes wide in fear. "Please," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Don't tell anyone," she explained in hurried whispers. Months before, during one of her duties at the infirmary, she had tended to a poor young woman from the nearby village who was ill and with child. The girl had no family, no husband, and no means to care for her baby. She had begged Sister Margaret for help. When the baby was born, the mother passed away, and Margaret, unable to abandon the child, brought the infant secretly into the convent. She had been caring for him in silence, feeding him in secret, praying that God would forgive her. I stood frozen. If the Mother Superior found out, Sister Margaret would be expelled, disgraced, perhaps even condemned. And the baby? He might be sent away to an orphanage, or worse. In that moment, I felt two forces pulling at me. One was the voice of the convent, the rules, the vows, the demand for obedience. The other was the voice of my own heart, beating wildly inside me. I bent down, touched the baby's tiny hand, and something inside me shifted. His fingers curled around mine, and I knew I could not betray them. "I won't tell," I whispered. From that night forward, I became part of the secret. Whenever I could, I brought milk, scraps of bread, or cloth to keep the child warm. I would slip into the storage room late at night, rock him in my arms, and hum lullabies my own mother used to sing. The sound of his soft breathing became my comfort in that cold, silent convent. Days turned into weeks. The baby grew stronger. His laughter, muffled though it had to be, brought light into the shadows of that place. Sister Margaret and I guarded him like treasure, our shared secret binding us together. But secrets weigh heavy, my children. Every time the Mother Superior looked into my eyes, I feared she could see the truth. Every sermon about honesty burned like fire in my chest. I prayed for forgiveness, yet I also prayed for strength to continue hiding him. One spring morning, everything changed. News came that a couple from the nearby town, a kind man and woman who had lost their own child, were seeking to adopt. Sister Margaret knew it was the answer we had prayed for. With trembling hands, she entrusted the baby to them, telling them he was from the infirmary, left behind by a mother who could not raise him. I watched from the chapel window as the couple carried him away, their faces lit with hope. My heart ached with loss, yet it also swelled with relief. The child would grow, laugh, and run in open fields, free from secrecy. But I never told anyone in the convent what had happened. Not a word. For years I carried that secret inside me like a hidden flame. Now as I sit here with you, my dear grandchildren, I finally release it. What is the lesson, you ask? It is this. Sometimes rules are not the highest form of obedience. Sometimes compassion, mercy, and love demand that we break silence, bend laws, or risk punishment. That baby lived, not because I followed the rules, but because I listened to the voice of my heart. Do not misunderstand me. I do not say rules are worthless. They guide us, protect us, keep order in a chaotic world. But when faced with a choice between blind obedience and saving a life, choose life. Always. That is the secret I kept since living in the convent. And though it was heavy for many years, tonight it feels light at last, because I have shared it with you.